The board will now come to order. Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Alderwoman Schweitzer, Alderman Oldenburg, Alderman Cone, Alderman Narayan, Alderman Vollmer, Alderwoman Velazquez, Alderwoman Sanye, Alderwoman Spencer, Alderman Browning, Alderwoman Clark Hubbard, Alderwoman Keys,
Present.
Alderwoman Tyus, Alderwoman Boyd, Alderman Aldridge, President Green.
Present.
But you said they're not living in there because of the water.
Alderwoman Velazquez, Alderwoman Spencer,
Waterman's like
Alderwoman Boyd.
Present.
13 present, you have quorum.
A quorum being present will be led in opening reflection prayer by Jerry Dreiling. Did I say that? Dreiling. Jerry is a writer, professor, and lawyer who puts her legal training to work as a volunteer with Legal Services of Eastern Missouri.
Thank you so much, Madam President and members of the board. It is an honor to be here today to mark the opening of Women's History Month. This year, the National Women's History Alliance has embraced the theme, Women Who Advocate for Equity, Diversity, and Inclusion. It can be safely said that St. Louis women have for nearly 200 years been doing just that. Today, I'd like to remember a few of those women, and I hope to connect the importance of their work to yours. I also hope to show how it connects to your role in shaping women's history tomorrow. Women like Mary Meacham. She was born in 1801 as a slave before her husband purchased her freedom. She wanted to teach African Americans how to read and write. The problem was, and this should come as no surprise, Missouri banned the practice. So, according to Katie Moon of the Missouri History Museum, Meacham and her husband got creative. They rented a steamboat, or they got a steamboat, and people on the Missouri side of the river boarded the steamboat and then headed over to Illinois for lessons, where they had the lessons and then they returned back to Missouri. It's a tactic that women in Missouri use today, crossing the Mississippi River into Illinois to exercise rights banned them in the Show Me State. Speaking of women's health, there's Dr. Mary Hancock McLean, who opened a free dispensary and clinic serving women who worked long days in factories. Carolyn Thummel, one of the first practicing female lawyers in Missouri who investigated conditions in the workhouse in St. Louis. She wasn't allowed to join the Missouri Bar. However, she founded the Women's Bar Association of Missouri. And there's the amazing Annie Malone. She built a hair care products empire that employed 75,000 women worldwide. The first Black female millionaire in the country who generously gave back to her community. I'd argue that some of the billionaires who we revere today would do well to emulate her example. Of course, the list doesn't stop there. There are more recent examples. Civil rights lawyer Frankie Muse Freeman, author, poet, civil rights activist Maya Angelou, Faye Waddleton, the first female African American and youngest president of Planned Parenthood Federation of America. These women were thinkers, doers, helpers, organizers, entrepreneurs, and leaders. But the work is not done. The work is never done. Even as the very label woman has evolved and expanded beyond the binary past, the concerns addressed by these women continue today. Each of you has a role in addressing these concerns. Your efforts are the pen writing yet another page in women's history of tomorrow. I wanted to close with a quote from Martha Gellhorn. As St. Louisan, a writer and one of the greatest war correspondents of the 20th century, I think it fits your work here today. Here's what she said. People often say with pride, I'm not interested in politics. They might as well say, I'm not interested in my standard of living, my health, my job, my rights, my freedoms, my future, or any future. If we mean to keep any control of our world and lives, we must be interested in politics. Thank you for the opportunity to share these reflections with you.
We will dispense with line item number 4, introduction of honored guests. Alderwoman from the 10th.
Members of the board, I would like to have as my honored guest since it is National Employee Appreciation Day. First, the staff of the Board of Aldermen, the staff of STL TV, all of the amazing staff in the city of St. Louis, and especially a happy birthday to Michelle Robinson from the Budget Division. I bet you thought I was going to forget this, but I didn't. Happy birthday.
Any further introduction of honored guests? Alderwoman from the 1st.
Thank you, Madam President, members of the board. Today I'd like to have as my honored guests the assessor, Michael Dauphin, and all of the people in the assessor's office for working hard to get the online portal up for people to apply for the senior property tax freeze that is available now online, as well as on paper. So if you are 62 and older, qualify for Social Security, own your own home, please apply, go to the link, submit the documents, and start saving some money. Thanks so much.
If further introduction, Alderman from the 14th.
Thank you, Madam President, members of the board. Today is my honored guest. I would like to have Speaker of Departments, Recorder D. Michael Butler. Just a few days, he hosted a fabulous Black History Heritage Month celebration where Alderwoman Keys actually was the MC. She did a wonderful job, and we acknowledge 3 amazing individuals that are doing work in the city of St. Louis, and I just want to thank him for all the work that he does for making sure we acknowledge different heritage throughout our city.
Any further introduction of honored guests? Right. Alderwoman from the 10th, you are Sorry, did not see Alderwoman Keys' hand up there. Alderwoman Keys, Alderwoman from the 11th.
Thank you so much. Tying into Alderman Aldridge's honored guest list, honored at that program was Black Girls Do STEM. So they are my honored guests today. Bravo, bravo, bravo.
Thank you. Approval of the minutes. Alderwoman from the 10th, you are recognized on the approval of the minutes from Friday, February 23rd, 2024.
Thank you, Madam President, members of the board. I move that we approve the minutes from Friday, February 23rd, 2024.
It's been moved by the Alderwoman from the 10th, seconded by the Alderman from the 14th, that we approve the minutes from Friday, February 23rd, 2024. Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed?
Aye.
Motion carries. Report of city officials.
Report of city officials can be found in A, B, and C if the agenda has been placed in the Google Drive for your review. Dear members of the board, I have the pleasure to submit the following individuals for appointment to the Tax Increment Financing Commission. The appointment of Patrick Hughes and the appointment of Brandon Smart. I respectfully request your approval of this appointment. Sincerely, Tashara O. Jones, Mayor.
Alderman from the 2nd, you are recognized on Mayor Jones' appointments to the Tax Increment Financing. Alderman from the 2nd.
Thank you, Madam President, members of the board. I move that we adopt the mayor's appointments to the Tax Increment Financing.
It's been moved by the Alderman from the 2nd, seconded by the Alderman from the 5th, that we approve Mayor Jones' appointments to the Tax Increment Finance Commission. Any discussion? Alderwoman from the 12th. Alderman from the 14th.
Thank you, Madam President. Will the Alderman from the 2nd yield for questions?
I will.
The Alderman from the, Alderman from the 2nd, you'll yield for questions.
I apologize,
to the Alderman
Madam
from the
President.
15th.
I certainly will, yes.
Okay, Alderman, you may proceed.
Thank you, Alderman. Is this a board that is citywide, or is this just particularly in your ward?
It's citywide.
Okay. Would you be willing to send these to committee?
Sure.
I have closed.
Would you like to make a motion to send them to the HUD's committee?
I suppose I will. I move that we send the mayor's recommendations to the HUD's committee for the TIF commission.
It's been moved by the alderman from the 2nd, seconded by the alderwoman from the 10th, that we send the mayor's appointments to the Tax Increment Financing Commission to the HUD's committee.
How did you know that? Point of order.
Alderwoman from the 12th.
He had made a motion, and I thought someone seconded.
You're absolutely correct.
So we have to remove all of that before he can put his motion.
You're absolutely correct. Alderman from the 5th, would you withdraw your second? Okay. Alderman from the 5th withdraws his second. Alderman from the 2nd,
I withdraw the original.
Okay. Will you renew your motion for sending to committee?
I will. I move that we send the mayor's appointments of the TIF commission to the HUD's committee.
It's been moved by the alderman from the 2nd, seconded by the alderman from the 5th, that we send Mayor Jones' appointments to the Tax Increment Financing Commission to the HUD's commission. Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Opposed? Motion carries.
Dear members of the board, I have the pleasure to submit the following individuals for appointment to the Waterman Lake Special Business District. The appointment of Glenn Gibb, the reappointment of Harvey Stiderman, and the reappointment of Deborah Lovelace. I respectfully request your approval of this appointment. Sincerely, Tashara O. Jones, Mayor.
Alderman from the 9th, you are recognized on Mayor Jones' appointments to the Waterman Lake Special Business District.
Thank you. I move that we accept the mayor's appointments to the Waterman Lake Special Business District of Glenn Gibb, Harvey Siderman, and Deborah Lovelace.
It's been moved by the alderman from the 9th, seconded by the alderman from the 3rd, that we approve Mayor Jones' appointments to the Waterman Lake Special Business District. Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Opposed? Motion carries.
Dear members of the board, I have the pleasure to submit the following individuals for appointment to the Industrial Development Authority. The reappointment of Gary Reed, the appointment of Victor Zarelli, the appointment of Shine King. I respectfully request your approval of this appointment. Sincerely, Tashara O. Jones, Mayor.
Alderman from the 2nd, you are recognized on Mayor Jones' appointments to the Tax Increment Financing Commission.
The Industrial Development Authority, right?
Sorry,
That's okay.
the Industrial Development Authority.
Sticking with the theme here and to save, Madam President, I move that we send the mayor's appointments to the Industrial Development Authority to the HUD's committee.
It's been moved by the alderman from the 2nd, seconded by the 8th, that we send Mayor Jones' appointments to the Industrial Development Authority to the HUD's committee. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Opposed?
Aye.
Motion carries.
Dear members of the board, I have the pleasure to submit the following individual for appointment to the 2019 Grand Center Community Improvement District. The appointment of Leslie Davis, who resides in the 11th Ward. I respectfully request your approval of these appointments. Sincerely, Tashara O. Jones, Mayor.
Alderwoman from the 11th, you are recognized on Mayor Jones' appointments to the 2019 Grand Center Community Improvement District.
Good morning, and thank you, Madam President and members of the board. I would request that we accept the appointment of the mayor's aforementioned person to that committee, to the Grand Center.
It's been moved by the alderwoman from the 11th, seconded by the alderman from the 3rd, that we approve appointments to the Grand Center Community Improvement District. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
That's the extended report of city officials.
Does anyone wish to take any bills or resolutions off of any of our informal calendar? Anyone wish to take any bills or resolutions off of any of our informal calendar? Anyone wish to take any bills or resolutions off of any of our informal calendars? Seeing none, Alderman from the 3rd, you are recognized on the suspension of the rule. Alderman from the 3rd. Need you all to wake up today.
That's me.
Happening in the back row over there.
Thank you, Madam President. I would move that we suspend the rules for the purposes of introducing Board Bill 228.
It's been moved by the alderman from the 3rd, seconded by the alderman from the 2nd, that we suspend the rules for the purposes of introducing Board Bill number 228. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Alderwoman Schweitzer. Alderman Oldenburg.
Aye.
Alderman Cone.
Aye.
Alderman Narayan. Alderman Balmer. Alderwoman Velazquez. Alderwoman Sanye. Alderwoman Spencer. Alderman Browning.
I have no idea.
Alderwoman Clark Hubbard. Alderwoman Keys.
Aye.
Alderwoman Tyus. Alderwoman Boyd.
Aye.
Alderman Aldridge. President Green.
Aye.
14 aye votes and 1 abstain.
Please place Board Bill number 228 at the end of the first reading.
So noted.
First reading of board bills.
Board Bill 222, sponsored by Alderwoman Keys, an ordinance authorizing and directing the mayor and the comptroller of the city of St. Louis to execute upon receipt of and in consideration of the sum of $10 and other good and valuable consideration, a quitclaim deed to remise, release, and forever quitclaim until Bethlehem Missionary Baptist Church, certain city-owned property located in City Block 1883, which property is known and numbered as 3509 Cousins Avenue in the city of St. Louis, Missouri, containing an emergency clause. Board Bill 223, sponsored by Alderwoman Schweitzer, an ordinance prohibiting the owner of a residential dwelling unit from obtaining a certificate of inspection if mold is present in any amount deemed hazardous by the building division, empowering the building division to inspect residential buildings for mold, providing for notice protocols to owners of unit where mold is found, requiring owners to, mold imposing certain, remediate mold imposing certain penalties for violation. This ordinance contains a severability clause. Board Bill 222, sponsored by Alderman Oldenburg, an ordinance relating to traffic control, repealing ordinance number 66868, establishing the Automated Camera Enforcement Act, authorizing installation of contracts relating to one or more automated traffic control systems as defined herein, establishing standards for prosecution of violations of traffic control ordinance detected by automated traffic control systems. Board Bill 225, sponsored by Alderwoman Clark Hubbard, an ordinance directing the Director of Streets pursuant to ordinance number 70333 as amended by ordinance number 71394 to install speed humps on the 1200 block of Montclair Avenue. Board Bill 226, sponsored by Alderwoman Sanye, an ordinance also known as Safe Temperatures and Rentals that provide a temperature performance standard to protect the health and safety of tenants from extreme temperatures, containing an enforcement provision, providing for penalties, containing a severability clause, and an effective date. Board Bill 227, sponsored by Alderwoman Sanye, an ordinance revising and amending portions of ordinance number 70798 pertaining to the property maintenance code of the city of St. Louis to amend the plat and petition process only as it pertains to opening shelters and other special residential using house using.
Please send Board Bill 228 to Transportation and Commerce.
Board Bill 228, sponsored by Alderman Cone, an ordinance recommended and approved by the Board of Estimate and Apportionment, authorizing and directing the Director of Airports and the Comptroller of the City of St. Louis to enter into and execute on behalf of the city an on-airport passenger vehicle rental concession agreement with the concessionaires listed in Exhibit B, containing a severability clause. That's the extent of first reading of board bills.
Reference to Committee of Board Bills.
Board Bill 222, 227, to Health and Human Development, Board Bill 223 and 226, to Public Infrastructure, Board Bill 225, and to Transportation and Commerce, Board Bill 228.
Second reading report of standing committees.
To the following board bills were reported out of HUD's with a due pass recommendation. Board Bill 44, Committee Sub as amended, sponsored by Alderman Aldridge, an ordinance pertaining to the permitting of surface parking lots as defined herein to be codified, Section 8.70.010 and a new section 8.70.035 of the revised code of the City of St. Louis, establishing additional requirements for the same and containing a severability and effective date.
State your point of order.
We did not send Board Bill 224 anywhere.
Yes, per Rule 69, I am not assigning that to committee today.
Understood. Thank you.
Board Bill 180, committee sub-sponsored by Alderwoman Sanye, Alderwoman Schweitzer, and Alderman Browning. An ordinance repealing ordinance number 67914, 60202, 70456, which established and amended the City Housing Conservation Program and enacting in lieu thereof an ordinance that set forth the procedures, requirements, fees, regulations, inspections, issuance, and revocations of certificate of inspections for dwelling units, adding rental dwelling unit registration, containing an effective date and a severability clause. The following board bill was reported out of the Special Committee on Red Taping. Board Bill 60, committee sub, sponsored by Alderman Narayan, President Green, and Alderwoman Velasquez. An ordinance pertaining to the excise laws of the City of St. Louis, repealing ordinance number 68536 as amended by ordinance number 69346 and ordinance number 69346, presently codified as Title 14 of the revised code of the City of St. Louis, having as their subject matter definitions, establishment of the excise division, general regulations, general violation, general licenses, manufacturers, wholesalers, and distributors, retail licenses, non-intoxicating beer licenses, license transfer, and enacting in lieu thereof a new ordinance pertaining to the same subject matter containing a severability, emergency, and a penalty clause. The following board bill was reported out of public safety with the due pass recommendation. Board Bill 96 as amended, sponsored by Alderwoman Boyd and President Green. An ordinance creating the offense of unlawful discharge of a firearm when allowed under state law with a penalty provision. That's the extent of second reading report of standing committees.
Report of special committees.
We have none.
Board bills for perfection consent.
Board Bill 216, sponsored by Alderwoman Clark Hubbard, an ordinance directing the Director of Streets pursuant to ordinance number 70333, as amended by ordinance number 71394, to install speed humps to calm the flow of traffic on the 700, 800, and 900 blocks of Bill.
Alderwoman from the 10th, you're recognized on the motion to adopt the board bills on the perfection consent calendar.
Thank you, Madam President, members of the board. I move that we adopt the board bills for perfection consent calendar.
It's been moved by the Alderwoman from the 10th, seconded by the Alderwoman from the 7th, that we adopt the board bills on the perfection consent calendar. Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Board bills for perfection.
Board Bill 96, committee sub as amended, sponsored by Alderwoman Sanye, President Green, Alderman Narayan, Alderwoman Keys, Alderwoman Velasquez, Alderwoman Clark Hubbard, and Alderman Aldridge.
Madam Clerk, it's 199.
I'm sorry, 199, committee sub as amended. An ordinance adding to Chapter 15 of the City of St. Louis Revised Code of the Ordinance, a new subsection, Chapter 15.190, to regulate the commercial use of drones and impose community-based safety regulations and restrictions on operations of drones and other UAs, and do not pre-exempt federal aviation rules or state laws, including a severability clause and an emergency clause.
Alderwoman from the 7th, you are recognized on the perfection of Board Bill 199, committee substitute as amended.
Thank you, Madam President, members of the board. I make a motion to perfect Board Bill 199, committee substitute as amended.
Is there a second? It's been moved by the Alderwoman from the 7th, seconded by the Alderwoman from the 6th, that we perfect Board Bill number 199, committee substitute as amended. Alderwoman.
Thank you, Madam President, members of the board. Board Bill 199 is a bill that has been of much discussion. I know much of the incidents that happened were very much public and very much in the media, and it was the second time within 4 years that we've had private, for-profit surveillance type of technology launched within our community. So Board Bill 199 aims to put common sense regulation on the commercial use of drone surveillance. It has been supported by the St. Louis Metropolitan Police Department. It has some tools that will help them with enforcement. So anyone violate any of our residents' expectation of privacy, it gives them ability to be able to impound the drone and issue citations up to $500.
Any further discussion? Any further discussion? Seeing none, it has been moved by the Alderwoman from the 7th, seconded by the Alderwoman from the 6th, that we perfect Board Bill number 199 committee as amended. Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Alderwoman Schweitzer, Alderman Oldenburg, Alderman Cone, Alderman Narayan, Alderman Balmer, Alderwoman Velasquez, Alderwoman Sanye, Alderwoman Spencer, Alderman Browning, Alderwoman Clark Hubbard, Alderwoman Keys,
Aye.
Alderwoman Tyus, Alderwoman Boyd,
Aye.
Alderman Aldridge, President Green,
Aye.
Alderman Cone,
Aye.
Alderman Aldridge, 15 aye votes.
By your vote, you sustain the motion from the Alderwoman from the 7th to perfect Board Bill number 199 committee as amended.
Board Bill 212, sponsored by Alderman Browning, an ordinance amending paragraph G of Section 2 of Ordinance 63843, approved on June 2nd, 1995, and amended by Ordinance number 69737, in order to extend the period of time for taxpayers 2025 through 2034, during which the Washington Place Special Business District shall be permitted to collect the tax within the boundaries of the district therein. Submitted to the qualified voters residing in Washington Place Special Business District, submitting said proposal of the voters of said district at the general election on August the 8th, 2024.
Alderman from the 9th, you are recognized on the perfection of Board Bill 212.
Thank you. I move that we perfect Board Bill 212.
Is there a second? It's been moved by the Alderman from the 9th, seconded by the Alderman from the 4th, that we perfect Board Bill number 212. Alderman, you may proceed.
Thank you. Board Bill 212 is simply putting on the ballot for this upcoming election to renew the special business district for the Washington Place Special Business District. The next two board bills, 214 and 215, are the same thing, just for different streets and different SBDs. Happy to take any questions if anyone has any.
Any further discussion? Any further discussion? Seeing none, it's been moved by the Alderman from the 9th, seconded by the Alderperson from the 4th, that we perfect Board Bill number 212. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Aye. Motion carries.
Board Bill 214, sponsored by Alderman Browning, an ordinance amending paragraph G of Section 2 of Ordinance 63481, approved on June 2nd, 1995, and amended by Ordinance number 69741, in order to extend the period of time for the for the tax years 2025 through 2034, during which the Westminster Lake Special Business District shall be permitted to collect the tax within the boundaries of the district therein. Submit to the qualified voters residing in Westminster Lake Special Business District, submitting said proposal to the voters of the district at the general election on August the 8th, 2024.
Alderman from the 9th, you're recognized on the perfection of Board Bill 214.
Thank you. I move that we perfect Board Bill 214.
It's been moved by the Alderman from the 9th, seconded by the Alderman from the 5th, that we perfect Board Bill number 214. Alderman, you may proceed.
Thank you. This is similar to the last one, except that it is now for the Westminster Lake Special Business District. Again, this is just putting it on the ballot so that the voters there can vote on it in the upcoming election.
Any further discussion? Any further discussion? Seeing none, it's been moved by the Alderman from the 9th, seconded by the Alderman from the 5th, that we perfect Board Bill number 214. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Aye.
Motion carries.
Board Bill 215, sponsored by Alderman Browning, an ordinance amending paragraph G of Section 2 of Ordinance 63479, approved on June 2nd, 1995, and amended by Ordinance number 69739 in order to extend the period of time for the tax years 2025 through 2034, during which the Waterman Lake Special Business District shall be permitted to collect tax within the boundaries of the district therein established. Submit to the qualified voters residing in the Waterman Lake Special Business District, submitting said proposal to the voters of said district at the general election on August the 8th, 2024.
Alderman from the 9th, you're recognized on the perfection of Board Bill 215.
Thank you. I move that we perfect Board Bill 215.
It's been moved by the Alderman from the 9th, seconded by the Alderman from the 5th, that we perfect Board Bill number 215. Alderman, you may proceed.
Thank you. This is the last one. We are just again moving to renew the SBD, Special Business District, for the Waterman Lake area, and just want to say thank you to all of the people who serve on our Special Business District boards. It is an unpaid position, so I really appreciate all the hard work that they do.
Any further discussion? Any further discussion? It's been moved by the Alderman from the 9th, seconded by the Alderman from the 5th, that we perfect Board Bill number 215. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries.
Aye.
Board of Engrossment.
We have none.
Please dispense with line item 17. Third reading and final passage of Board Bills consent.
We have none.
Please dispense with line item 18A. Third reading and final passage of Board Bills.
We have none.
Please dispense with line item 18B. Report of the finally passed and signed by the President.
We have none.
We can dispense with line item 19. First reading of resolutions in reference to committee.
Resolution 200, sponsored by Alderwoman Schweitzer, adoption of Vision Zero policy.
Alderwoman for the 1st, you are recognized on the first reading of resolution number 200.
Thank you. I'd like for this to be sent to the Public Infrastructure and Utilities Committee.
For a second. It's been moved by the Alderwoman from the 1st, seconded by the Alderman from the 14th, that we send resolution number 200 to the Public Infrastructure and Utilities Committee. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Second reading resolutions, committee reports and adoptions.
Mayor's appointment of Sarah Sims to the Developmental Disabilities Resource Commission.
Alderwoman from the 13th, you're recognized on Mayor Jones' appointments to the Developmental Disabilities Resource Commission.
Thank you, Madam President and Board. I'm excited to, I'm sorry, my mind went faster than my mouth. I'm excited to introduce the appointment of Ms. Sims to the Disability Board. We were very impressed because she is a mother that has suffered with a loss from a child that had disabilities and they passed. So it was a powerful presentation that she gave to us, and she kind of gave us a history in regards to herself as a mom and how she reflects in regards to the disabilities of people that we have in our city. So we unanimously approved her appointment to the Disability Commission.
Would you like to make a motion, Alderwoman?
Yes, I'm sorry. I'd like to make a motion to accept Ms. Sims' appointment on the Disability Board.
Second.
It's been moved by the Alderwoman from the 13th, seconded by the Alderwoman from the 10th, that we approve Mayor Jones' appointments to the Developmental Disabilities Resource Commission. Is there any discussion? Alderwoman from the 7th.
Thank you, Madam President, members of the board. Ms. Sims is a member of the 7th Ward, and I got to sit down and have in-depth conversations with her, and I just wanted to commend her for her service and turning her pain into power.
Great. Any further discussion? Any further discussion? It's been moved by the Alderwoman from the 13th, seconded by the Alderwoman from the 10th, that we approve Mayor Jones' appointments to the Developmental Disabilities Resource Commission. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Aye. Motion carries. Courtesy resolutions. Alderwoman from the 10th, you are recognized on the motion to adopt the courtesy resolution consent calendar.
Thank you, Madam President, members of the board. I move that we adopt the courtesy resolution consent calendar.
It's been moved by the Alderwoman from the 10th, seconded by the Alderman. We adopt the courtesy resolution consent calendar. Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries.
Aye.
Miscellaneous and unfinished business.
We have none.
We can dispense with line item 23, announcements.
Monday, March 4th, 2024, Transportation and Commerce will have a committee hearing in the Kennedy Room at 2 p.m. Tuesday, March 5th, HUDs will have a committee hearing in the Kennedy Room at 11 a.m. Thursday, March 7th, Health and Human Development will have a webinar at 9 a.m. Friday, March 8th, 2024, full board meeting in the chambers at 10 a.m. That's the extent of the announcement.
Any further announcements? Alderman from the 4th.
Thank you, Madam President, members of the board. Public Safety will have a meeting March 7th at 2 p.m. in the Kennedy Room to discuss Board Bill 223 and some other issues as well.
Alderwoman from the 1st.
Thank you, Madam President, members of the board. Announcing that the Public Infrastructure and Utilities Committee will have a meeting Wednesday, March 6, 2024 at 3:30 p.m. in the Kennedy Room. And also on Sunday in Carondelet Park, there will be a cleanup of the area where the city's first mountain bike course will be going in Carondelet Park coming soon. So if you're interested in helping clean up that area and get ready for some new bike infrastructure in our city, please head to Carondelet Park on Sunday. Thanks.
Alderwoman from the 8th.
Thank you, Madam President, members of the board. I just want to take a moment to recognize the long-standing work of our building commissioner, Frank Oswald. Many of you may know that he is retiring today after several You know what's wonderful about this? I know Frank isn't in the room right now, but he is one of the few division heads that watches us every single Friday. So I have no doubt that he watching us and appreciating that. After several decades of service, you may not know. Say that again. Oh my God. Don't say that. He hasn't retired yet. Okay. After several decades, I mean, he started as an NIS. I don't know if many of you know that, but he has served under so many mayors in so many ways and is just one of the most responsive employees and certainly department heads that we have. And I'm really grateful for his service. I'm really grateful for the attention to the various wards I've represented at this point, and just his willingness to work with the board and doing so with a very, very limited budget and often not getting the things he needs to do his job. So Frank, we're very grateful for you, and we hope that you enjoy your retirement. We know you'll stick around and continue to be of service to us, and we're so grateful. Thank you.
Any further announcements? Alderwoman from the 7th.
Thank you, Madam President, members of the board. I just wanted to make sure that I announced for the public there's going to be a peace vigil aimed about talking about healing our communities from gun violence at Marquette Park from 1 to 3 p.m. On March 2nd, so tomorrow. Just want to make sure you all know it'll be a community gathering. There'll be resources. Of course, our state does everything it can to stop us from doing common sense gun legislation, but there are these types of efforts to help provide healing for people who have been victims of gun violence and also to talk about what we can do and what we'd like to see as a community.
Alderwoman from the 11th.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I just want to tie in with Alderwoman Kara Spencer, and I'm sure that Frank is watching. I just sent you a bunch of emails, dude. So I certainly knew that you were going to retire, just didn't know when. And so, like every loss, you know it. You may know it's coming, but you're never prepared when it actually happens. So, Frank, thank you so much for all of your assistance and just answering the phone, when I call is greatly appreciated, and the quick responses. And so I hope that whomever is taking your place will do the same. We appreciate you and thank you for your service.
Alderwoman from the 10th.
Whew. So I had one announcement, but Alderwoman Spencer kind of got me emotional with her announcement. So I would never stand up here without doing a public thank you to Commissioner Oswald and just being probably one of the closest departments that I have worked with down here in my going on 6 years. To my colleagues' points, he always answered the call. He never made me feel like I was getting on his nerves. He never made me feel like any question was not the right question or a good question. He always took the time to answer it. He took me on tours of all of the different areas and departments within the building division, because I think people get confused. The building division is one thing, but there's so many other departments and so many other key people that work here for the city to make sure, first and foremost, that our city is safe. If you follow me, you know, whenever you see me on those steps, just know that I'm probably going up to get on Commissioner Oswald's nerves on that fourth floor, going up to meet with him. And again, ask him how to go about this. His level of wisdom and his patience with the sometimes very, very challenging systems and policies and procedures here in the city of St. Louis will be unmatched. I can comfortably say that. I believe it'll be unmatched. To my colleagues' points, I hope whoever takes his place, they got some big shoes to fill, and I would love to be able to help them fill them. But again, it will never be matched. He will never be duplicated or replaced. I think we owe him another round of applause. And he didn't want anything, Alderwoman Spencer. You know, we was like, we got to do something big. His staff was trying to plan something. He kept telling them to be adamant about saying, I don't want anything. So thank you for making sure that we did do something, because he deserves it and so much more. So I would like to announce this Sunday is the 81st When Singers Meet with Queen Mary Beth Gentry Gospel Concert in the 10th Ward at Westside Missionary Baptist Church from 3 to 5. If you've never been to a gospel concert or you want even your first exposure, you're going to get laid out at Westside Missionary Baptist Church on Sunday. And if you don't know who Queen Mary Beth Gentry is, please take the time out while we're in Women's History Month to find out who she is, her legacy, and her life, and the celebration that goes on again at this 81st celebration. And then there's a bigger celebration on Sunday, if everybody doesn't know. It's our very own, I'm claiming today, it's our very own mayor to the liaison to the mayor's office. Kevin Bailey's birthday is on Sunday. You all give it up, because many of us couldn't do it without you. I told you, can't nobody do it like you. So happy birthday. Enjoy your day. You deserve it.
Alderman from the 9th.
Thank you. I just want to give my own congratulations to Commissioner Oswald. I haven't been alderman for very long, but he's been instrumental in some big changes in the 9th Ward. We really will miss him. We know that the building division will continue to be excellent, but during his time, it was truly amazing, and we really just appreciate all the work that he's given to our city. I also want to announce that on Saturday, the 2nd at 9 a.m., we will be having a cleanup in Kennedy Park. That is Samuel Kennedy Park, which is actually named after the father of our wonderful clerk. It's a great little park in the Central West End, but it needs some love, and so please come out, help us out. I'll be out there with you, so hope to see you then.
Any further announcements? Seeing none, Alderwoman from the 10th, you are recognized on the motion to excuse.
Thank you, Madam President, members of the board. All members were present today.
Great job. Alderwoman from the 10th, you are recognized on the motion to adjourn.
Thank you, Madam President, members of the board. I move that we adjourn until Friday, March 8, 2024. It's also International Women's Day in the board, 10 a.m. in the Board of Aldermen chambers.
It's been moved by the Alderwoman from the 10th, seconded by the Alderman from the 3rd, that we adjourn until Friday, March 8, 2024 in the Board of Aldermen chambers. Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Opposed? Aye. Motion carries. We are adjourned.